Hi there.
Hey, Kim. Hey.
Hey.
Okay, so we're live with Kymber Menkiti. Hey.
Hey.
So I don't know that we're going to be able to publish this at the appropriate time or not, but we're live right now. And so because I couldn't figure out how to do it in the group. So we're going to monitor and adjust here for a minute, and apologies to the group for the time being a little bit off. And we do that. We monitor and adjust, and we roll with the punches, and that's just how life goes, right?
That is, and I appreciate it. I clearly need some work on my time conversions, but I'm going to work on that.
Yeah. When we all work in different time zones, it just happens. We're all very busy ladies, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. And please give us your official titles, Kymber.
Yes. So for the last 10 years, I've been the president of sales, running our residential sales team based in Washington, D.C., serving Maryland and Virginia. And then a week ago, I took on the regional director position for KWI and Maryland region. So I'm kind of wearing two hats right now, but that's my new venture of literally 10 days.
Awesome. Yes, your new growth opportunity.
That's right. Oh, I love it. Yes, that's exactly right.
Yes. So Kelly says, I hope I'm saying your name right, Kelly, says, hi, Kymber. We love you and are so proud of your new role within KW.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. You said it perfectly. It's Kelly.
Okay. Good. Awesome. So yes, we are all so proud of you. We love to have a woman in another leadership position. So we're so excited that you're there. And so tell us a little bit about your team that you have as well.
Yeah, so I started, this is now going on my 11th year, so in the business. And I really, my background is in social work, and I was running a counseling department for the Archdiocese of Washington here in the area, and really wasn't, real estate wasn't what I thought would be in my future. And so Bo, my husband, had started a residential team in 2004 and then launched the Keller Williams Capital Properties franchise, so the first Keller Williams in Washington, D.C. In 2006-07, and had really sort of thought, I'm really excited about this market center ownership and development. He's really a developer at heart. And so he was like, well, we don't really need a sales team. And at that time, we just bought a 21-unit building. It was our first condo project in 2007, right? So for people that know what was happening, the market crashed.
Right.
Us. And so I was like, well, I'll just get my license. And originally part-time, I was dual career, and I would just kind of sort of rebuild the business at that time. And so he was doing about 10 million in production in that time. And so what I thought would be just a short stint in real estate turned in 10 years and $100 million team later. And so there's been a lot of growth and pain points in that.
Right.
Been an exciting journey. Yeah. So today that's a team of agents that service Maryland, DC, and Virginia, and did just over 200 units last year for just continuing to sort of grow and build. And so my role was really everything right in the beginning, just being the listing and buying agent. We added a buyer team on to that and grew that out. And the last couple of years have also added a listing division. So I went from being the primary listing agent to really having another listing agent that drives a lot of that activity.
Wow. So how many on the team total?
It's about 15. Sometimes a moving target, but it's about 15 people total on the team.
Right. Approximately at any given day. Yeah. So that's a lot of management. Yeah, that's a lot of management. It's a lot of management for sure. So, and you have 3 children, 3 boys?
I do. I have 3 boys who we're like right in the birthday changes. So we're at 9, 6, and 4.
9, 6. Wow.
Yeah. So you can say 10 and a half years in the business, 5 of those years, right? A lot of those years we're having babies. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot to manage there, Kymber. I mean, seriously. Yeah.
It's messy. That's messy.
Well, it's funny you say it's messy, because this is what I call it. I term it managing the mess of parenthood and real estate. And so I love that you just said it that way, because that's truly what I call it. It's managing the mess.
Yeah. And you get comfortable with it in that way. I think it took me several years to sort of start to be comfortable that it wasn't going to be this like perfect, there was going to be a lot of like learning and a lot of failure and a lot of getting back up and like being okay with that.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I think we all have this idealistic picture of what everything's going to look like. And it doesn't always turn out that way,
Absolutely.
So,
and even
as long as
that's what opportunity has looked like for me too. Like I said, as I explored the regional role, I was like, well, gosh, if this were only like a few years later, if my kids were only a little bit older. And I think sometimes we look at that in our business, even as it's growing. And sometimes you just have to jump into it knowing that it's going to be a little crazy. Yeah.
It is. It's going to be crazy. And, I've had to get to terms with it's okay if not everybody's clothes are ironed. And it's okay. It's okay if you just have a sun, butter, and jelly sandwich for lunch. It's okay if I don't cut all your cheese and your meat just perfect and you don't have compartments for lunch today. That's okay. Yeah, you just got to let it go.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I had a brief conversation about balance and how there's just no such thing.
There really isn't. And I think, that balance is a lie is like such a thing. Like I felt like it sort of set me free a little bit of like, oh, well, I am going to be out of balance. And when the business is doing great, it often means like something else in our life isn't going to be great in that moment, whether it's our health or our time with our family, our extended worlds, our friendships and relationships. And so I've watched that, right? Like it just, as one thing feels amazing, it often means something else is really out of balance.
Right. And for those who haven't read the book, The One Thing, that is so key in that book. That's such a great book. And it's so key in that book. Their balance is a lie. I loved that sentence in there. It's so great. And so it's so true. And so much of the conversation in the book, in this group is, what is the leverage and then what is your time management and what do those things look like for Kymber?
Yeah, so I think, I got permission. I say often, like, I got a housewife. And for me, that was, like, life-changing. Like, I got somebody who was going to be able to, like, take care of the laundry and make sure that the food was there when it needed to be there. Like, I got leverage at home. And that was, like, a game changer because those weren't necessarily things that I loved to do anyway. Like, if the laundry, like, right, it was often in piles everywhere. And that drove me crazy. And yet the idea of, like, doing it also drove me crazy. So once I found that point of leverage at home, that really, people were often like, how does this work? And I was like, well, it works because there's somebody sort of making that space operate. And for me, that kind of gave me back the time. What I was finding is I was like running in the house and trying to like, figure out dinner and figure out baths and figure out bedtime. And so when I unlock a little bit of that, it really also made me feel a little bit more free as a parent, that I could actually enjoy the time, working full time and then getting home. So that was a major part of leverage for me.
So I heard two things there that were so key. You gave yourself permission.
Mm-hmm.
That's so key. We don't do that. We don't give ourselves the permission.
Yeah.
We don't give ourselves permission in so many areas, but especially at home with our children. That's why we're in the positions we're in, because we do have that mentality of I can do it all.
Yep.
And we don't give ourselves the permission to let go of some things, which I think is one reason team building is difficult for a few of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a huge part on our in the business. Yeah. Like, right, I was like, I can do this. And literally people would be like ripping it away from me. Like, we got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no. I will take this from you. You hired for this. No. This is now mine.
Yeah.
Find somebody that is strong enough to do that in your team is huge.
Yeah. I think being upfront that's actually what you want them to do. Right?
Yes. I've had to tell my director of operations, your job is to hold my feet to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is to plant my butt in the seat every morning to lead gen. That is your job.
Yeah. To make sure I'm following the schedule that we said that I'm supposed to be doing. And if I'm not doing that, like somebody pushing you back over and saying, wait a minute, you didn't do the thing you said you were going to do today. Yeah. That was a big one. And I think letting people into the business was a big part. Leverage just generally, and even finding, I think with the boys, knowing that like the more consistent that I could create for even just like childcare resources, sometimes it was totally off. Like somebody was like, I want to meet, and I was like, oh my God, it's Saturday afternoon, I've got to like scramble. but just sort of blocking in the time. So
Right.
for example, in my world, like Wednesdays just became a late night. I just blocked it. And so Wednesday nights were a night that, you know, I could do a listing appointment during that time. I could with somebody, or I could just like grab a drink with a friend if I didn't have anything booked. And it was like, I had permission on that schedule. I'd figured out childcare, and I knew that that was going to be the night of the week that I would be out late. And so just figuring that, sort of like giving into it, I think actually creates a lot more space.
That is so wise. Yes. Very good. That's a good pearl of blocking that time and knowing I'm going to have a sitter every night of this week. Yeah. And then having it on a consistent basis.
Yeah. And it's good for you, right? To create that cadence with somebody else so that they know, hey, Wednesday, I'm your girl. Yeah.
For sure. And then, so you said permission, and then I heard you give yourself a deep breath when you did that too. Yeah. No, it's true. Because laundry is my biggest issue. I mean, I can have piles of clean laundry everywhere, but if someone can, the fairy can just, I can clean it. I'm clean everywhere I go. But if someone can just fold it and put it away from me, I mean, I can hear the angels sing all day long. And so, you know, giving yourself the permission one.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. So
absolutely.
And those two things are huge. And then obviously you covered time blocking and off, you know, just in that same conversation just now as well. So that was a huge thing also. And so now with your new position that you're in as regional director, what are you wanting to accomplish in that?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I am so fortunate to, one, I mean, just coming inside in deeper into Keller Williams and behind, you know, Seth Campbell has been the regional director in Menkiti for, you know, the last years, and just phenomenal leadership and just a leader I've learned a lot from. So I'm excited to sort of be able to come and continue that forward. Sure. And so I'm looking at, there's just so much good stuff. We see that a lot of times in our own business. There's a lot of really good, exciting things happening inside of the region. And one of the things I love that I think Marilyn D. has done a phenomenal job setting the example for is providing collaboration, like our annual masterminds, just sharing. It's a group of leaders and agents who share with each other really well. And so wanting to really continue that culture. I mean, exactly what you're doing here, really telling the stories of people inside the region and helping sort of lift that out. A lot of times, you know, I hear still, you know, that it's like, you guys are the best kept secret. Like people will come in and they're like, I didn't even know all this was going on inside of programs. And we're like, yes, it is. We need to be telling it more. So really helping to expand and share that story, keep the culture of collaboration, and then just education, right? We have historically offered some of the top training, bringing stuff into the region. And so that's going to continue to be one of my big initiatives. So education, collaboration, and telling the story are the three major I'm working to push through this year.
Awesome. So more conversations.
That's right.
Is what I'm hearing.
You got it. More conversations. Because that leads to collaboration.
So, and it does. It does. It truly does. I always tell clients quotes and conversations are free. And so why wouldn't you be knowledge seeking through conversations? Right?
I love it. Yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, you're just a wealth of knowledge. And what is it that every power mom needs to hear from Kymber?
That's a good one. You know, I think part of it is this permission piece, right? That like permission to like let it be crazy and be comfortable. Like let it just know that that's not like failure. That's not. That it is messy for all of us in some way. And actually, like I think the success is in the mess, right? That like that's what that the kids aren't always being perfectly dressed, and like sometimes they are eating like rice with like soy sauce on it for dinner. Like I'm like, is that what you want? Like that's what you get, right? Like so, just being okay that it can be like a little wild.
It can be wild. I think that's where growth happens. Lean into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is, you know, this idea of being balance where you are going to be leaning into one thing, like the grittiness of what we're doing might mean that like there's a period that you have to, that you're leaning into your business, and that there's other places and ways that you're going to need leverage so that you can do that effectively. And then there are times where it's going to go the other direction.
Right. And so what is your one thing? What is your one thing, and what is your big why, Kymber?
Oh, I love it. I think for me, talent is really, really, really big focus for me when I think about sort of where my one thing is. It's about those relationships and really continuing to expand that, whether that be inside of ways that other people can engage and grow within KW, coming into the organization, or developing further within. So that's a big focus for me here, continuing that. And then one of the things like that just really resonates for me, I mean, obviously, like, right, my kids and our family are a major part of my world. And, also this concept, and I call it like lift as you climb. And so I think this idea of how are we empowering other people to see themselves inside of the journey, whether that's a leadership journey, a business journey. It's why I think you having this is such a important group, that a lot of times we do we're entrepreneurs, right? We can kind of feel like you're going at this alone, and to sort of see that there's a progression and there's a journey, and people that are invested in wanting to see you succeed. So that's
very much so to help leverage one another for their big why, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Help people see the possibilities they could.
Yeah, and that is what every power mom that I've interviewed has said. There are so many possibilities within Keller Williams. Mm-hmm. You just have to open your mind to it. And I think so many of us get stuck in the mundane of selling and the grind that we're in, that we don't open ourselves to the opportunities that are before us. And so I think being regional director, you're able to get out there and share the opportunities.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that, and getting to sort of visit and sort of hear what people are doing, tell and connect is one of the things I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. You okay?
Yep, I know. I didn't do the whatever you told me to do. so messages are coming in, but it's great. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Ignore those.
Yep, I'm like, okay.
No worries. Okay. And so a few more things is that, how are you giving back?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a big part of our world. And so we have a foundation that we started a couple of years ago, which is sort of one of our vehicles, right, to be able to, within Kymbers Capital Properties and the Menkiti Group, to really impact a larger level. I think that we do such critical work and sort of provide people this access and opportunity for home ownership and wealth creation. And there's a whole section of the population that won't reach the point of being able to receive our services. So really having another option to be able to dig deeper and to engage more fully in the communities that we serve. So the foundation provides support to different organizations, and last year donated over $80,000 back to organizations in the DC metro area. So it was a big part of how we could contribute at a high level. And then personally, I was part of a group that started a few years ago, about 4 years ago, of all women who are involved in the real estate industry. And we raise money all year long and support an organization that focuses on women and housing. So that's been a really amazing to see women across brokerages. We have a title company and a lender involved, and then the rest of us are all just business owners and team owners, and we just literally raise money. So we raised about $150,000 last year and donated it to an organization in the city. So it's been powerful to see that group come together in a way that's both women, right, coming together to support other women organizations that are doing good work. So that's one of my organizations I'm really excited about.
I love that. So you created a group locally, other women realtors, not necessarily within Keller Williams, but brought everybody together. And then you also included title companies and lenders and, vendors per se, and y'all raise money and then you donate it back to fund women in housing.
You got it. Yep. So it was a small group was actually one of our title partners who it was like, we're all just sort of out of that baby phase. And so what are ways that we could really connect, right? Almost like a giving circle, but we made it a 501c3 nonprofit. And then we identify an organization every year. So it's been a really just awesome group of women to just connect with. We meet once a month and often over wine and talk about the organizations, and then we plan a big fundraiser. So we do one big part here that's sort of our signature event.
Do you do Do you do anything else within the group that helps fund or funnel maybe your businesses?
That's a good question. I think you start to see it more organically where we work together, right? Because you get to know people at a different level and their businesses and what's happening in their businesses. So there's definitely a lot of business that happens in that group. Not formally though. There's not sort of a formal mechanism. There is a lot of like,
Okay.
even if it's like what's happening in your business and I'm struggling with this. So there's a lot of masterminding that happens in that group.
Okay. Okay. But is there any sharing of, hey, I have this coming up. Who do you have that fits it? Is there any of that?
There's not a lot of that. There is if we have something specific, like we kind of do that one off, but not formally inside of the group. But that's a great idea. We should be doing more of that. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you could definitely call on them, like, you know, put them on your call list and call them as it comes up, and definitely work those realtor to realtor relationships with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Within that group. I love that. Just got my wheels spinning. I mean, I love that. That just really, yeah.
I know.
Because I've created a PowerMoms group within
Mm-hmm. So you're doing a power
of just local women.
Mm-hmm. So not just.
I'm sorry. I've created a local PowerMoms group with Little Rock that are business women. They're all working moms. And we get together at least once a month and just talk mom and work and business and, whatever. But then I've also chit-chatted with several other women realtors in different companies about a monthly breakfast. But this takes it to another level, and I love that.
Yeah, and the idea started exactly what you're saying, where we were just going to get together. And so we're like, well, why don't we get together and do something, which originally just started as us sharing and all picking an organization that we charitably would give to. And then it's kind of spun. And we said, well, why limit it to just like what we individually would give? Why wouldn't we tap? And we've really been tapping the broader real estate community because we find that a lot of them be engaged. They just don't have the time, don't know where to go. And so we do this big party. We introduce them to the organization, and then we create lots of ways for them to give. Yeah. So it's fun.
Oh, there's so many things you could do with it. Absolutely. You could have an enormous fundraiser every year on it.
Yeah, that's what we do. We do a big fundraiser. It's a big
I mean,
yes, happy to share.
This is such a good conversation, Kymber. You're fantastic.
Well, so are you.
Thank you so much.
Great community to bring together.
Well, I mean, it's just very organic, and the community is nothing but what it is. It's just amazing, amazing women with the same culture, willing to share and leverage one another and encourage one another for us to all leverage our big whys. And I think that's amazing.
I do too. So, I'm really glad you're here and you're doing it.
Well, I appreciate you helping at a higher level. So thank you so much for joining us today, Kymber. You've been amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And thanks for being flexible with the time.
Always monitor and adjust. We always have to do that so we can manage the mess. So anyways, you have a great Monday, and I can't wait to see you at Family Reunion.
Me too. Thanks.
You bet. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.